This is backflips for amateurs. This is the version of backflips where you're not going to spend 3 years doing gymnastics. This is a progression that I've worked on. It definitely works. There's natural checks and balances. So this is definitely the amateur version. I am not a gymnastics instructor, just a physical therapist and a dude who taught himself to backflip at like the age of like 33. And I'm now 41. I haven't done a backflip since like October last year, and it's now May. So this is how I get into it. So you gotta start with the idea of getting big and getting small. So however you want to do it on your back, get big, right? So just practice. You have to get big and get small, right? That takes no body power whatsoever, but that's the first step. Get big and get small, right? And then step two, you have to have good air awareness. You should easily be able to pound out backflips on a trampoline like no big deal. And if it's hard for you, just lean back. You just lean back and get to your knees like this, right? Just get to your knees, okay? When that's easy, give it a little more, get to your feet, right? Too much, right? So get to your feet, okay? Easy. That should be like no-brainer before you go to the ground with the backflip. Okay, the next step, just to do a backflip on the trampoline with no run-in, right? No movement from a dead stop. Practice going up and getting small. That's the next step to being able to do it on the ground. So you're using the trampoline, but not much. And you're trying to not go back this way. You can't do that layout on the flat ground. So on the trampoline, practice, go from a dead stop, get up and get little, right? Like, okay? Dead stop. Okay? So if you can get that easily, without using much spring, the next step, it's never a good idea to go right from the trampoline to the ground and just try it. You gotta have your body peripherally tuned in and your brain tuned in to the flat ground. So you should just do some tuck jumps, do some plyos, just find a spot and get used to like jump off the ground. You have to give your body the time to get used to jumping and landing on grass. To do a backflip on the ground now, vertical jump and body power comes into play. It does not on the trampoline. But to do it on the ground, you have to have a good vertical. So you should be easily able to tuck jump over something above your waist height, right? Give or take, whatever. But you know, if you can make it over something like that, you can get high enough to do a backflip. If you can't make it over belly button-ish, don't even try. Just stick to the trampoline. But so, this is my gauge to know how my vertical jump is officially, like, right, easy, okay? So that should be easy, that you can get over something like that. Next step. You're gonna do the backflip just on a slight grade, going a little bit downhill, because it buys you a little more time to rotate. And you gotta apply the same principle as on the trampoline though, with going more up and not just going back, right? So I would usually use something like this, maybe even fold this up. I have a little more lift, maybe bring another mat. I'm not gonna do it now, but you want a little lift, a little bit of a step down, not a lot, just a little bit. Soft surfaces, a slight slope, all that helps. It really does. But for now, I'm just gonna do this. Commit to this, not back. So I overshot that. But that's the idea. You got to get that downward slope. And I overcommitted a little bit because I just haven't done it since October, and it's May. And I'm an old guy, I'm 41. So last step, when you can pull that off, you're ready for the flat ground. And again, when you haven't done it for a while, it's a little scary. You got to get that balance point where up, right, not. And I get a little bit scared about it, I definitely jump back too far. But the thing is, if you commit and go hard, if you do jump back too far, the worst you're gonna do is hurt your feet. Or you'll land like that. That's the worst that will happen if you go hard. If you go halfway and stop and half commit, then that's trouble. So as long as you go into it aggressively, even if you do lean back, you'll get to your knees and maybe hurt your feet. But remember, this isn't about training. This is about just showboating, just something cool to do. It's not for training. So last step, you gotta find a spot, right? Find your spot. It's like a dog taking a dump. You gotta walk around, do some circles for a while, right? But guys, so last step, this is just gonna be my first one for a while. Done.